Heyo everybody, Haku here with my live reaction to read through for Kubera Season 2, episodes 38, 39, and 40. We're gonna finish out the test of the sword this time around, and I only have 3 to read, so it's like, dang, I kind of want to do more, but then again, I feel like if I do too much, then I'm not going to be able to retain as much, and I'm just caught between that struggle because there's still so much Kubera left, and I'm again caught between wanting to just catch up and really dive into all of the reread through things, dive into wiki content, stuff like that. Caught between wanting to do that and caught between not wanting to be caught up because it kind of feels a lot better knowing that I still have hundreds of chapters to read than it does being completely caught up and having nothing else to read, at least until one new chapter a week comes out. But either way, for this time around, I'm excited to finish off this chunk of the story, and yeah, we just have a lot more to go when it comes to this season, when it comes to the series as a whole. After this, I think the next segment is 10 chapters, so I don't know if I want to split it into 5 and 5, if I want to split it into 2 sets of 3 and 1 set of 4. I think there's some sort of special Q&A after that, so should I do a set of 4, and then 2 plus the Q&A? I don't know how long the Q&A is. If any of you have any suggestions, let me know, but yeah, because of that, I have no idea. And as usual, or at least as we've been doing, as I get to the end of each chapter, I'll also read and react to and talk about the afterword for that chapter. So either way, not too much of an intro there. Let's just start reading this time. There's nothing we can do about it. We'll have to measure your transcendental value. By the way, how do we measure it? I don't have to use a transcendental skill to measure it like how I did for the affinity, do I? We'll see. There is a way to measure it without using a transcendental skill, but you have to use the skill. And then they both react. I went there to check. They had an old type measuring machine. You need to use a transcendental skill to have your value measured, so the halves who cannot use their skills were just giving up on the test. Riche has the new type machine, but there's no way she'd lend it for a temple event. I'm screwed. A transcendental skill that can be used right now. There is one way, Leez, but it's going to hurt a little. Do you still want to try? I don't know what that is, but of course, I'll do it if there's a way. Fine, then let's go to the test center together. What? You're coming with me? What for? Is it some kind of transcendental skill that's used by 2 people? Yuta, do not come with us, no matter what. And is it going to be that Asha's going to hurt or attack Leez in some way that causes her to activate one of the abilities? Why would you come here, Ashirahiro? Because her transcendental skill requires some help in order to be activated. Leez, just like how you measured your divine affinity, put your hand on the rock over there, and don't switch on your bracelet. Okay, like this? Yes. Bhavati Marut. And we cut to dark for the title splash. Test of the Sword, Part 5. And it goes up to 5,740. Wow, 5,740. What transcendental skill did she use? They should open the place so we can watch. Even if they do, we can only see the numbers for the attacking types of transcendental skills, although those are the only thing that are worth watching. Transcendental skills other than attacking types are not interesting to watch, especially the regeneration types. So again, I'm assuming she made it so that she has to use regeneration. Anyway, 5,740 is really impressive. What would be Bhavati Marut? Is that like the wind blade cutting one? No, because Vayu is the wind one. Why do I not remember Marut? Oh well. I heard that she's wearing a god-level item that gives her an additional 1,500 points. That still means her own value is still over 4,000, right? When it's not even easy for halves to be higher than 2,000. I saw her at the earlier 2 tests as well. She broke over 50 boards for the first test, and she got almost a perfect score on her second test. She probably got the highest overall score amongst all the applicants. Asha, don't yell. Self-regeneration. That only activates when you're attacked to be vitally hurt. I thought you heard everything from Claude, am I wrong? I did, but still, how could you actually use Bhavati Maruta on me? This is the least painful of all. Since you die instantly, if I aim for the head. Least painful? You're saying that so lightly because you're not the one who got attacked, right? Now I know now I know why no one wanted to supervise this test. I won't be able to eat meat for a while. Okay, my head's healed now, so that doesn't matter. But I'm more surprised to see you use magic to attack me, and acting like nothing has happened without feeling anything. Your test is more important than those kinds of sentimental feelings, Leez. Do you even remember the reason why you decided to draw the sword in the beginning? If you do, you should not be whining like... And then we see Leez's face finally. And again, it's from like way, way, way back when we were in Atera in season 1. It just has been the same relationship of Leez would kind of be nowhere at this point in the story without Asha. She may have not even survived. We don't, I guess, 100% know at this stage if she has something that would have, helped her survive, even if, like, Marina wanted to kill her and, like, really, really tried his best. We don't know, like, is there a certain degree that she just could not ever potentially regenerate or come back from? Like, you would assume that she's not just immortal. So, like, she'd probably be nowhere without Asha, but at the same time, Asha is, Asha's kind of been, again, I said it way back in Atera as well. I don't know if it's right to say that Asha's using her to get what she wants, but at the very least, for whatever reason, Asha wants Leez to draw the sword. We don't know if that's because of something that Asha wants, or if Asha, maybe if she is dying soon because of all the flags we've got, if she just wants to die but leave Leez ahead with the sword and stuff. I don't really think that's the case, because it seems like she has a genuine disdain or hatred for God Kubera, so it seems like she might want to, not like Leez, but she needs to use Leez's power if she wants the sword. So it just really feels like Asha's not a bad person, and Asha wants to care about Leez, but Asha has a bigger thing going on that we just haven't been able to know the full picture of yet, and she's using Leez for it and making tough decisions for it, and Leez is in the position where she's suffering through being used by Asha, and things could always get even worse. She's suffering through being used, but without Asha, she would kind of just be nowhere. Leez, she looks up. There's no way I would truly intend to harm you, so don't worry. Why are you looking away from my eyes? She thinks. Okay, Asha. And again, we've seen Leez do this same thing again and again, where she notices the way that Asha acts. But then she's like, okay, let me be nice, let me be polite and go along with it. We've been seeing it for like arcs now. Then we have a Kurigam. We got one. Working at the curry rice and curry fried noodles stand. I heard you got 4,240, even without counting the effect of your bracelet. Is that right? Heh. I was in first place after the first and second tests, but now you've overtaken me. My divine affinity isn't that high. This is an announcement from the administration office? Huh? After the completion of the third test, the 6 candidates who were far enough ahead that the rest of the tests would not affect the rank. Or we have 6 candidates who are far enough ahead that the rest of the tests would not affect the rank. So first, the 6 top candidates will be given the chance to draw the sword first. If they all happen to fail, we will continue the tests for the rest of you. We have people mumbling to each other. This means, Leez, you will be the first one to approach the sword. And now, I'm assuming these are our 6? It's impressive to see such a young lady get a higher score than any of us. What's more, she's a pureblood. Somehow, she reminds me of Rao. Don't you think she resembles him a bit? We have Zard Blaine, quarter, age 51. So overall, he would be mid-20s. Professor at the Calibloom Martial Arts University. participated in the test of the sword several times, but never had the chance to actually draw the sword of return due to mistakes or accidents. His fighter ranking is number 9, his magic ranking is number 31 with a magic rank of A, which is pretty solid. That's pretty good. You must be joking. How can you compare Rao to such a face? And she may have gotten the chance to try, but actually drawing the sword's a different story. Clary Eutis, half, age 115, so she would be a quarter of that, so also like late 20s. Challenge to the test. I guess just challenge the test. Challenge the test of the sword 2 times already and managed to approach the sword of return both times. However, on her first chance, another applicant ahead of her drew the sword, so she had to give it up. On her second try, she attempted to draw it but failed. Usually, it's known not to be drawn if you fail once, but Clary followed her sponsor Zard to try it again, just in case. Fighter ranking number 7. Each candidate will be given 5 minutes in the room. In order to block any other disruptive factors, this door will be tightly locked, and no interaction between the inside and outside of the testing room is allowed. Those of you who need to use the restroom, please go beforehand. And I guess a little bit of the drama for some of these characters, like if Leez went last, we'd be like, oh, is somebody else gonna, are we gonna see how they try to draw it? But if Leez is going first, I feel like narratively, maybe I'm dumb, but I'm just kind of assuming that Leez will be successful in drawing the sword. Maybe I'm just totally wrong. Maybe she'll fail at it, but I really thought Leez would just draw it. Or maybe she'll fail to draw it now, Calibloom will get attacked by the Shura, and then with all the craziness going on, all the danger of the Shura attacking in the heat of the moment, then she'll be able to draw it. Maybe that will happen, but I was assuming she would just, be able to. Does that mean if some accident happens inside, we can't get help from anyone during the 5 minutes? There won't be anything in there except for the sword anyway. Anyway, good luck, Chickie. Until when are you gonna call me Chickie? It feels kinda odd to call you by your name. Yeah, why is that? Miss Leez Hyas, are you ready to go in? Yes. Leez Hyas, the current leading candidate, will now enter the testing center. We have rumbling as she enters. Whoa. And the doors close behind her. They really did lock me up. Now then, for 5 minutes, we see the sword. That seems to be the sword of return, and I can't remember if that's the same. It's probably the sword we've seen in the, not flashbacks, but the flash forwards to adult Leez, assuming that she gets it. If I'm going to end up drawing the sword, I hope it comes out easily. And then a foot lands on it. And this is where Sagara attacks. Honestly, big brain move, potentially. We don't know how much the Shuras who have been in the Shura realm for forever and are, super powerful Gnostica, really high-ranking ones, we don't know how much they really know and understand about the human world or care about the human world. So she might not have a ton of info on, she might be underestimating how strong the people taking the test would be, but since the people taking the test would be locked in for 5 minutes, well, never mind. I was gonna say she could have had the big brain plan to be okay, every 5 minutes they send one of their strongest fighters in, and I kill one of their strongest fighters, but even though they said, we're not going to help you for 5 minutes, or you're locked in for 5 minutes, I still think if you didn't come out afterward, they would probably check before sending in the next person. Either way, though, this is a really cool time for her to attack. And again, I guess this is how we drag out the suspense, because I feel like Leez can pull it. Again, maybe I'm completely wrong. This might help us drag out the suspense of, Sagara and the Shuras do some crazy stuff, and then maybe during a fight with Sagara is when Leez has to pull the sword. And I say a fight with Sagara, again, she's presumably, even though she's not at her strongest right now, presumably still extremely, extremely strong. So Leez at this point, who doesn't really know much about how to use any of the power she has, it's could Leez even hang for any amount of time in a fight with Sagara right now? Hi. And then we stop there. And throughout this chapter, it's crazy just in the short time so far. I know a lot of Kubera's like chibi, funny, and I love the chibi cartoony art style of Kubera. But like even with this, it just feels like everything looks a lot more detailed and just even better looking already compared to the way the art was. And again, I like the style, so I hope it doesn't become like too like generic webtoon style. That's something I don't like with Tower of God. How Tower of God did have a really unique style to itself, and it eventually just started looking like every other webtoon. I kind of don't want Kubera to start looking like every other webtoon. I want it to retain its like uniqueness. But either way, with that aside, that was a very fun chapter. It was really, really good. There's a lot of great character stuff going on, but that's the usual for Kubera. So with all of that aside, let's check out this week's afterword. The afterword here says, "Sword thumbnail, you've been waiting for this for so long. Now they finally reached the destination. The destination they've been striving for since episode 42. It took a long time, so people forgot that the main character's goal was to draw the sword." Leez's exaggerated grin. The main character is laughing comfortably because she has no idea what's about to happen next. She knows about the bracelet's powers, but she didn't expect that Asha would do that. Transcendental attacks of the bracelet, like with magic attacks, are not effective when one touches the measuring equipment, which can only measure the value. As with the regeneration Transcendental Leez used today, even if it's not an attack, there's a value regardless. The Chaos Barrier interferes with the Transcendental attacks of the bracelet. It'll be explained later in the chapter, but she can still use them. It doesn't mean they can't be triggered at all. Okay, so I'm assuming the "it'll be explained later in the chapter." Of course, chapter is referring not to the specific episode, but Test of the Sword. So we only have two episodes left of Test of the Sword. So I'm assuming then if she does start fighting Sagara, that's where we'll see that she's going to have issues using the abilities of the bracelet. Again, it's not that they can't be used at all, but they will be affected by the Chaos Barrier, much like magic would. Which is interesting to think about. I guess transcendental skills are affected too. We already kind of knew that, so that makes sense. Just kind of going over this again. There was something else. Like with magic attacks, they're not effective when touching the measuring equipment. Okay, I understand then. I get it. I was thinking, like, what does it mean it's not effective? She did regenerate herself or she would have been hurt. I think it's just, like, if you cast a fireball on the measuring equipment wouldn't actually get burned or destroyed. The effect of the magic wouldn't actually hit the equipment, it would just measure the value of the attack. And then Yuta watching Leez eat noodles. The reason Yuta always has milk whenever he's drinking something is not because he likes milk like Texaka. It's the only thing he can drink that his body won't reject. Ron and Leez inside the waiting area. This scene, as well as the one with Leez walking alone, were the most difficult to draw this episode. It's a good thing that the building wasn't colorful, but a solid color. And then the new character profiles will be introduced later. Okay. Well, with that aside, I had a lot of fun with this chapter. Let's keep reading. Into Season 2, Episode 39, we have the same thing we just saw. And then, nice to meet you, he bows. Didn't he say there's nothing in here but the Zord? Geez, Ron, he doesn't know much about this place either, does he? I love the way Leez thinks about things. I didn't know there was another supervisor in front of the Sword of Return as well. So do I have to try drawing the sword with you standing on it? And she's like, my scary hype entrance. It's been ruined. No, this is my first time taking the test, and I don't know much about it, so could you explain what I'm supposed to do? Given the time is not being used up already, or the given time's not being used up already, is it? Is this the first human to pass the test of the sword? She doesn't look very strong. Should I just kill her? And she notices the bracelet. Isn't that God Kubera's bracelet? Yes, but why would you ask? Is there some kind of restriction about this again? What an unexpected present. I thought it would be in the Temple of Earth along with the other items for sure. Give that to me. Give this to you? What do you mean? I can't even take this off. I know how to take it off. Really? Yep. You just need to die. And then she reaches in, and the bracelet activates. She's able to grab onto Sagara's hand. Who the hell are you? And then Test of the Sword Part 6. That's a great shot of the temple. We have Yuta and Asha. Why, are you sad that you couldn't continue with the test? If you did, your identity would have been revealed for sure. No, I was just wondering if it's okay for the temple to be so open like that. If someone draws the sword without passing the test, that's stealing. Yeah, I mean, I guess, but what are you gonna do? There'd be no one... Well, I mean, what are you gonna do besides, like... I guess you could still, like, kill them, take the sword back or whatever, but it's like they drew the sword. They were chosen by it or whatever. There would be no one who'd do that when they know that they should risk being chased by both the Magicians and Fighters Union. What's more... Sorry, I just got distracted by the mouths being red on these silhouettes. It looked like the silhouettes were just kind of see-through. What's more, the Sword of Return can be retrieved only when its owner's dead, so they get killed on the spot once they're witnessed. To most people, that sword's not as valuable as to risk their life. What if it's not a human who goes for the sword? If a high-class sheriff finds out about the existence of the sword, it doesn't matter whether it's considered stealing, and since they exceed humans in almost every aspect, they should be able to draw the sword easily. I guess that's right. If a Gnostica comes for it, the sword should be drawn without even having to use their strength. Exactly. I find it amazing that the sword has still not been taken by a high-class Shura already. I know there are not many Shuras in the human realm ever since the upheaval, but there were many of them before the upheaval, right? But it's rather disadvantageous for a high-class Shura to have the Sword of Return. The sword's ability to disable regenerative abilities is impressive for sure, but the problem is that it also affects the owner of the sword as well. Maybe this is part of why Asha needs Leez to have the sword. Maybe whatever's going on with Asha, she doesn't have what it takes. She's not like somebody who would be chosen to draw it. Or maybe Asha doesn't want to lose the ability to regenerate herself. Again, like, it's not like Asha has passive regeneration that we know of, but she could have like regeneration spells or whatever, and I don't know if that also counts as you can't use it when you're using the sword. But if Leez has it, it could be a way. Asha's end goal, seemingly with the hatred of God Kubera, could be to kill God Kubera using the person with Kubera's name, and then maybe also if Leez can't regenerate anymore, kill Leez. It could even be that she wants Leez, who has the name to draw the sword, then to kill Leez while Leez can't regenerate, thus killing the name of God Kubera. But I feel like if you kill the person with the name of God Kubera, that doesn't actually hurt the actual God Kubera. Again, I don't think I've read enough to be sure of that, but I think that he would be fine, because I'm pretty sure he said before that he wanted to kill her to get back the power of his name that she has, right? But he decided not to kill her because, you know, lots of character stuff that was going on. We'll see, though. Of course, the goddess who created the sword was an exception, but whether it be a god or a Shura, its owner ended up meeting a not-so-good ending to their lives. There was even a rumor that Kali threw away the sword on purpose to see this kind of result. If you think about it, if you own the sword, your own regenerative abilities are neutralized, and you can't even give up its ownership unless you died. What kind of Shura would want to draw that sword? Is the sword's ability to pierce the wall of the realms unknown to them? No, it's also my first time hearing about that. Is that even true? Yes, if my mother wasn't lying to me. Then the reason why the Shuras weren't interested in it must have been because they didn't know about that. We'll have to hope any other Shuras other than you never find that out. Why, is there something else that makes you worry? Are you thinking of Leez? And startled. No, that's not it. Leez will be able to draw the sword just fine. You don't need to worry. She has the ability to do so. Asha, when Leez gets the Sword of Return, what will you do next? Take revenge. Revenge on the Shura that destroyed Leez's village? And she thinks back. You're not able to speak again, huh? Is that Shura you need to take revenge on that strong? Yes, it's a Rakshasa, probably in its 4th stage. Even you won't be able to defeat it, Yuta. Not all 4th stage Shuras are that strong. And again, this is getting into such deep territory with... Again, I don't want to speculate too much on the character we're seeing there. But into the situation where Yuta and Marna were brothers and, want to find each other to a certain degree. And of course, Yuta's on Leez's side. And they haven't seen each other in a while, so they have been able to drift into being different people. But it's one of those things where I'm sure he doesn't want any ill will towards Marna. But then again, Marna did legitimately, seemingly kill Leez's whole village. I still think there's some kind of thing that could have gone on where rather than kill her, rather than kill them, his abilities could have just sent them to the Shura realm or sent them somewhere else instead of killing them because of the whole 0 humans dead reading. And the fact that, Leez had that weird dream of her mother and the other person whose name I'm blanking on at the moment. So we're just building up more drama for when we finally do get that sort of confrontation with Marna. Aren't you too confident to say so when you're only in your 2nd stage? If it's a Shura who's focused on transcendental skills, I can beat it even if it's a Rakshasa in its 4th stage. Really? I feel you're more dependable after hearing that. And he notices Claude just lurking. Can you read this? Of course you can. Shall we have a talk for a sec? Oh, and then if I scroll down, it would have been easier to read. Asha, excuse me for a second. Sure, just don't go near the testing center. Then, Leez Hyas, the current leading candidate, will now enter the testing center. She's finally entering. 5 minutes from now. In 5 minutes, Leez will be in possession of the Sword of Return. Even after having the sword, her future will still be in mist. But things will be much better than they are now. You told me to abandon Leez. We see Knight and Victim. But I'll make sure she doesn't get abandoned. And again, maybe Asha's end goals are less sketchy than I'm thinking with just revenge. Maybe she is hoping to set Leez up, if she thinks she's going to die, maybe she's hoping to at least be okay, I need to set Leez up to not get killed for having the name. I need to set Leez up with the Sword of Return before I go. And we hear all this banging. Asha looks surprised. We see smoke coming from the temple. What the hell? The temple's being destroyed because you're struggling. You would be nothing but a joke only if I could use my attack transcendental skills properly. This annoying close space of chaos is the problem. I gotta get rid of it first. Anyhow, now that you seem to be out of vigor, you shouldn't be able to use any tricks, I guess. I have nothing against you. Just think of yourself to be unlucky to encounter me while having that bracelet on you. I really didn't have anything against you, because Leez is still standing in defiance. But all you human bitches ask for it just like that. Don't glare at me, you ugly bitch. And then she reacts and is able to dodge out of the way of Sagara's attack. This cannot be part of the test. Something must have gone wrong. And we see Sagara still not taking it seriously, hitting her with another kick though. But if I use up my 5 minutes dealing with her, I'll be failing the test whatever the reason, right? That's not happening. I have to draw the sword. She starts activating it, and then to be continued. I wonder again if this is going to help her tap into the transcendental skills and allow her, maybe if she would have just waltzed in there and tried it, maybe she wouldn't have been able to pull it. Maybe it would have been neat if we could have seen that first. Maybe she walks in, tries to pull it, it doesn't work, but then Sagara shows up, they start this fight, and by the end of the fight, she needs to pull the sword to try to pass, and she's able to do it after the fight with Sagara. That could have been neat, but, maybe she was always destined to be able to draw it. Maybe she always had what it took to draw it, so that's why we can't do it at the very beginning. But either way, it looks like she's tapping into more of the bracelet's power, even though she was seemingly out of vigor. And maybe that's a good thing. Maybe when she's running out of her own vigor, that's when she can start tapping into more of the power of the name, whatever's going on with the bracelet, and start tapping into more of the god Kubera power within her, so to speak. But either way, before we go to the next chapter, let's read the afterword. The afterword starts with Sagara thumbnail. Before Sagara noticed the bracelet, if Leez had said the words, "You're pretty," this may be a reference to when Kaz called Sagara pretty, sparing himself in the nearby crowd. Click here for the t-shirts. Okay, no longer available in the neighbor store. Leez bows to Sagara. There were a lot of people who predicted this would happen. They were right. It's in Leez's nature to greet a person and bow 90 degrees. Hypothetical thief being pursued. If you steal the sword of return, you will be executed. There will be no court or judge. Even if you want to be shown mercy, you can't return the sword without being killed as the owner. It's a sad rule. Then cup of coffee. Asha enjoys drinking coffee, black coffee. In episode 60, she only talks about coffee when others are eating meat around her in that expensive meat buffet restaurant. Example, when Agwan says, "The meat's really good," Asha replies, "What, the coffee's really good." And then, okay. I'm just trying to make sure this isn't a spoiler. Then, okay, so they were just explaining that's the reason. And then told me to look at the replies on episode 60. And then you can see hundreds of posts with Asha's words, "The coffee is good." Okay. I was really scared with those pluses that it was going to be something spoilery. But I'm pretty sure the afterward section isn't, and I'm pretty sure if there are any spoilers, like, I'm not looking at the notes, but I'm pretty sure when there are spoilers and stuff like that, I think it's marked, but I don't know. Like things that would be just important to the future past this. But yeah, either way, let's go on to the last chapter of this video. Season 2, episode 40, and we start with this guy again. If the one who went in first fails to draw the sword, Ransairafe is up next. No wonder, he would have become an outstanding fighter if only he didn't have half phobia. Well, he made it to become a AA candidate, only with his magic abilities, so he'll be fine. By the way, I never thought he'd show up at a place like this. I guess his half phobia has gotten a little better, huh? Hey Ron, remember me? When I was gonna say we didn't get to know more about the fifth person yet, and yeah, it was the cat girl. I remembered her from when the doors, when we first saw the shot of the 6 of them. So wait, there's these two, the cat person, Ron and Leez, and so yeah, there's actually one more other than her too. When you were little, you, Rao, and I. Whoa! Don't come any closer. I can hear you just fine, even if you keep the distance. And I have no idea who you are. I guess not. Mr. Ransairafe, please do not approach the door and wait for your turn. Okay. Wait, didn't you hear a noise just now? If you interrupt a test, you will be disqualified. Please step away, Mr. Ransairafe. Geez, so uptight. There really was some noise from, and then there's a bunch of banging from in there, and everybody looks surprised. Did everyone hear that? I'm not the only one, right? We still didn't get character boxes for the other two, though. Are you just gonna stand there? There could be some kind of accident, so open the door first. There are still 3 minutes and 20 seconds left. Excuse me, Supervisor, there could have been some kind of accident in there, but if someone opens the door during the test, Leez Hyas will be disqualified. Will you take responsibility for her disqualification, Mr. Ransairafe? When the candidates attempt to draw the sword by any means, they could go wild enough to make such loud noises. So, and then there's is this energy? It's a transcendental skill that intensifies gravity. Use Oti Kubera. But why would anyone use it in a place like this? Gosh, look, mister, something's going on. Something's going wrong in there, and the test supervisor's down. Can you hear me, Supervisor? Then, Season 2, Chapter 40, Test of the Sword, Part 7. This is the Transcendental Skill Gravitational Field? That's strange. I don't think that bracelet has this kind of transcendental skill. And she even ran out of vigor. She's getting back up. What? Her vigor recovered already. I've heard that humans recover vigor fast, but this is... Well, it doesn't matter. A gravitation field like this is useless. Why would you even bother to try this? How stupid. I don't know what gravitational field is, and I didn't do it. No more crap, just die. And it bounces off. So I'm assuming she's activating whatever sort of barrier ability that she had. And Sagara is able to avoid a punch that slices through one of the pillars. Ha! I thought you were just a kid, but you at least know how to use the bracelet, huh? Push force, followed by perforating hit. It never worked when I was practicing. Well, it doesn't matter, because even if you know how to use that, all you can do is struggle a little more before you die. And then she gets punched in the face. No matter how fast your vigor replenishes, your maximum value should be hopelessly low since you're just a human. At this rate, your bracelet will turn off like earlier and you'll die. Do you think I'll give you another chance to recover your vigor like earlier? No, I don't have much time left. She looks over to the sword. And then we have her charging to it. You want to draw the sword? That's not happening. She grabs her by the hair. These kept getting on my nerves since earlier. How dare you do your head on both side pigtails with such a face like yours? That's an insult to this hairstyle. She's still reaching for it. Damn it. And she grabs the pigtail from Sagara. How dare you grab my hair like that? Let go. You let go first. You ugly little thing, how dare you? I know I'm ugly, so shut your mouth. And then she gets kicked in the side. And it looks like... Did it cut through a chunk of her outfit? Now, my time isn't up yet, right? Please come out. I wanted to finish you in female form, but since you're a girl... I wanted to finish you in female form since you're a girl, but... And then, no more fooling around. And then we have the transformed male Sagara slapping her away into the side. What a waste of time. But the bracelet should be off since she's dead now. What? Still alive? How tenacious. It's weird how I figured male form would just kind of look like Sagara, but male. But like, male Sagara just doesn't even look the same. I have no choice then. It's bothersome, but I've got to crush you once more. And it's crazy, this panel, with just the blood splatter. And then God Kubera steps in. And that's when we end. Test of the Sword end. Next chapter, crack. Okay. So, the way he steps forward, I wonder if this is God Kubera showing up, or if this is just something that, you know, in times of real true life or death, something that can happen to Leez. Can Leez sort of like channel God Kubera? We'll have to see, though. Very, very, very good set of chapters. Like, this fight and everything was so good so far. The character stuff is really good as always. And, you know, now I'm stuck waiting for next time. I still want to see those two that we didn't get to know about. Like the cat girl and whoever the other one was. But either way, let's go over to the blog poster afterward. The afterward this time around, fighting Leez thumbnail. My condition isn't good. It takes me a week to draw the characters, and now I'm on season 2, episode 40. The Temple of Chaos's background, where every pillar is drawn differently, is going to disappear. There's beauty in a blank scene. Even when I get the opportunity for character merchandise, I don't have time to draw pictures, so I can't sell any. What's up with this? Then Ron scared by Par. The girl with the cat ears was blushing in season 2, episode 38. Many people noticed that, but sadly she can't approach Ron now. Sagara punching Leez's face. The main character's having problems, but even a hit like that, her face still looks okay. Hoti Kubera is really strong. Then Leez's bloody arm. I suddenly want to draw some horror. I'm trying to avoid making spoilers, so I'm not saying anything. and so this becomes a boring afterward, and then I really want to rest. I said that if I'm late one more time, I won't be a Kurigam, so now I'm a white gom. So I'll skip an episode this week so I can return to my curry color. If I do that, I'll be terrorized. To skip an episode this week is very bad timing story-wise, and then next episode wasn't released on schedule. So I was wondering then, since Kurigam was saying that, I was wondering if this was one of the side chapter moments. And that just reminds me, geez, I haven't been reminded yet in Season 2. Have I missed any of the side chapters? Or has Kurigam even kept doing them? I know at some point people said Kurigam stopped doing the Daily Life of Kubera. Have I missed any Daily Life of Kubera? If so, I need to react to those. But yeah, either way, let me know. Either way, I'm going to end the video here. Thank you so much for watching, for being a part of the video and everything. Yeah, I'll end here. Like if you did like the video, comment down there to tell me what you thought of these chapters, my thoughts and reaction. Subscribe for more. Kubera, much more on the channel. Follow on Twitter if you want. If you want a link to the Discord server, it's free and open for anyone. If you'd like to help support the channel by dropping a super thanks, it's appreciated. But if you want to not just help the channel and help me to keep making videos, but also get your name at the end of every video, get One Piece videos a little bit early, you can hit join down below to become a member. Go to patreon.com/HakuOfTheTubes, or a link will be in the description to become a patron. Thank you so much to people who are already patrons and channel members. Thank you so much to Chosen Regular Evan Holly, Magical Girls, FR Nono, Abyss Knight, JA, and The D-Van, Cheriton Students, David Langstaff and Folded Ghoul, Slayer Candidates, SG and Stan Cedar, and Pure Element, Pate Ardial. Thank you all so much for your support. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.